Hi there, this is David and welcome to the Top 10 Worst JRPG Party Members Part 8. Here, we're going to be recounting characters from classic JRPGs who are just terrible in battle. If you missed the previous parts, please check the video description for links and keep the comments and recommendations coming. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these videos, but everybody loves them, and I have more characters that I just need to call out. Number 10, Tora of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. This guy just pisses me off. Not only is he shrill and annoying, but his blade is uptight and obnoxious. And I can't help but compare him to Ricky from the first game, who was just fantastic in every way. This guy though? No. He's a tank, so he can be useful, but the problem is that he's just stuck with one blade for like half the game. And only whenever you're in the final area does he finally get access to a third one. It really wouldn't be so bad if Poppy wasn't such a pain in the ass, though. Unlike every single other frickin' blade in the whole game, the only way to really power her up is to play that stupid Tiger minigame. But then, they don't even cover all three forms! You need to spend crystals on every single different form individually! What a drag. Number 9, Noel of Trails from Azure. To be fair, she's actually in both of the Crossbell games, but I can deal with her in Zero. She only joins like late in the game, and then only for a couple of hours. But in Azure, she's a full-fledged party member, with you the entire time, and it's just like, why? Her crafts are absolutely terrible, causing status effects and increasing and decreasing movement of all things, rather than actually focusing on damage, and like, who really cares about movement? Buff up your attack or defense or, something useful. Then her orbment setup isn't all that stellar either, so don't think of her as like a great caster. She's just average in every single department, and in this game, average just doesn't cut it whenever you have some exceptional members in the same party. Number 8, Lauren of Cosmic Star Heroine. Here we have a new type of character. The unfortunate party members who are super useful whenever you first get them, but then just kind of fall off to the wayside when other, better party members join up with you. This rocker chick is your indispensable healer when she first joins, but the second that Saibi joins up, she's immediately replaced. The thing is that Saibi's group regain is just as good as hers, and his attacks don't suck ass. And then the worst thing is that it's not just Saibi who replaces her, but everybody kind of replaces her. Every single party member outclasses her in some way by the end of the game. At first her candle burns bright, but then it's just as quickly snuffed out. Number 7, Rab of Dragon Quest XI. Ugh, this pudgy old man. He just needs to figure out what he is. Upon first glance, he looks to be the next in the long line of respectable merchants from this series. Only, he doesn't have any unique merchant skills or weapons, so instead he is a jack of all trades, a red mage. If he joined up earlier, he might be useful, but he joins after both black and white mages, and the only thing that he has going for him, his multi-heal, can be useful for like a hot second, but then Sylvando will get the hustle dance quickly enough and then outclass him there too. While he can fill many different roles, in a game where you can change your party members right in the middle of a battle, you really don't need somebody to cover a bunch of different bases. What you need are the specialists. Pretty much, he's only good as an out-of-battle heal bot and nothing else. Number 6, Clarth of Tales of Fantasia. Maybe I'm a bit biased here, maybe I'm just being a catty bitch, but I really just don't like his hat, and that's why he's here. Just kidding. Well, kind of. Clarth is a summoner from the original Tales game, and while Mint and Arch can cast a ton of spells, Clarth can only summon, and his spells take forever, and they cost a fortune, and they're just so one note. The other two casters have a variety in their spells, and he can only attack, and magically at that. His physical attacks are just bopping enemies upside the heads with his books, and that just sucks. But I think that the worst thing is whenever he casts one of his spells, the entire battle has to pause while the animation goes on. I just don't have the patience for it, or his bad fashion choices. Number 5. Han of Phantasy Star 4. We've previously seen Grizz on this list, and he literally just had nothing going for him. He was an attacker and nothing else. But Han is right down there with him. It's not so much that he's bad, per se, it's just that everybody else is so damn good. At the very beginning of the game, he joins you on your first adventure where he can be useful as a healer. But then he leaves, and he's gone for a long time, only to come back as an optional character at the very end of the game. And yeah, he has some bio spells and stuff, but he's built like the other two mages, Rune and Raja. So he's as fragile as they come, but unlike those two, he's not a specialist, and his skills in the long run just aren't as useful. Number 4. Anastasia of Shadowheart's Covenant. This one hurts my soul. As a history buff myself, I was downright giddy at the opportunity to play as a real historical character. But once I actually got her in my party and saw what she could do, my excitement quickly waned. The princess is a blue mage, a job class that's normally ridiculously overpowered, but here, it's dumpster trash. In order for her to learn any spell, she has to take a photograph of the enemy, and for the most part, you're rewarded with some status effect spells, but none of those status effect spells work on bosses. So pretty much her entire lineup is completely useless whenever they matter the most. Couple this with some extremely complicated rings, and you've got yourself a real loser. Maybe she should have just stayed dead. Number 3. Just about everyone of Destiny of an Emperor. Good lord. We've seen some shitty-ass casts over the course of this series, you know, from half the cast of Chrono Cross to all the looters and Rada Yada stories. But do I have a doozy for you? I mean, at least those guys gain levels. At least they can be somewhat useful in limited circumstances, or, you know, if you wanted a challenge, you could beat the game with them. But not with these idiots. Yeah, this is an archaic game, and it was released on the NES, but seriously, there's maybe 10 people that can actually grow and get more powerful over time, and the rest of them are completely static. I mean, do you want to grind out or spend money on characters who will never gain a single solitary stat? I don't think so. Even the crap-ass Magikarp can get better, but these losers stay losers forever. Number 2. Linny of Front Mission 3. Ugh. This creepy-looking weirdo is into some nasty shit. Quite literally. He uses scat to power his mechs, and he forces his way into your party, much to everybody else's chagrin. Pretty much the second after he joins, he kind of vanishes though, at least story-wise. But that's not why he's useless. It's how he performs, or underperforms, I should say, in combat. Basically, everybody else is balanced amongst themselves with their weapon proficiency. Except Linny. He has access to missile launchers, and the lowest rank there too. And they're long-range weapons and can only be used on enemies 3 or more tiles away from him. So he's just extremely limited and useless for any kind of close combat. And number 1, Lionel of Triangle Strategy. As my mother would say, he's about as useful as a steering wheel on a mule. But personally, I just don't like the looks of him. This greedy bastard is your party's merchant, and he joins up with you whenever you accrue enough utility, and he uses a unique weapon type, the whip, and he has some special skills, like finding extra money and items lying around on the field. He can also talk to enemies into defecting to your team, as well as reduce their stats. All of this might sound nice, but at the end of the day, his niche is just too narrow, and the battles are too hard for you to be dragging this slow ass around. His movement is abysmal, and his attack power, terrible. While the rest of your team is on the front lines, he's always just going to be lagging behind and have no uses whatsoever. Well, that's it for the top 10 worst JRPG party members part 8. Please be on the lookout for part 9, and as always, feel free to mention the ones that you hate the most in the comments. And if you like this video and wanted to hear on the channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon, heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, or joining the Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.